Well, Lewis mentioned Jacob Rees-Mogg, who spoke earlier this morning, and I think it is worth playing you what he said, because it was quite jaw-dropping.
From a Conservative point of view, it is a mixed picture. We have won the nation-state. There is no prospect of the UK going back into the United Kingdom, and the gerrymandering effort you've read about today of Keir Starmer giving votes to all the EU nationals here would not get us back into the European Union. It's fanciful to think that. It's a particularly silly scheme. I very much doubt they'll do it in the end. Parties that try and gerrymander end up finding that their clever scheme comes back to bite them, as, dare I say, we found by insisting on voter ID for elections, and we found that the people who didn't have ID were elderly, and they by and large voted Conservative. So we made it hard for our own voters, and we upset a system that worked perfectly well. It was one of the glories of our country, actually, that we did on an honesty basis, when the real problem is with postal voting. So don't get too fretful about random schemes brought up by the socialists, because gerrymandering doesn't really work.
As you know, I'm a very mild-mannered individual, but I am incredulous that someone who was in the cabinet when this legislation was being drawn up and being passed through Parliament stands on stage and says, yeah, it was an attempt at gerrymandering. Throughout all the cases I covered in America where there was allegations of gerrymandering, they always said it was about democracy and ensuring electoral safety and making sure there was no fraud. We have just had Jacob Rees-Mogg say it was about stopping young people voting, but bugger it, we stopped the old people who were going to vote Conservative.
To be fair, we are always asking politicians to be more honest with the voting public. So there you have it. Jacob Rees-Mogg admitting that a law he was part of bringing into being was to help the Conservatives shift the boundaries of who could and who couldn't vote. I'm not sure he really meant to do that. I mean, there is every chance he did. And he just thinks, what the hell, I'm out of the cabinet now and I'm going to be the person that corrects a wrong. But there's also a sneaking chance that somehow his words got away with him and he meant it as an attack on Labour and Keir Starmer's talk of lowering the voting age or giving the vote to more EU permanent residents here. And it all got away with him and he ended up letting the cat out the bag, which is, yeah, the Tories were really trying to get young voters off the list.
Just every now and then, accidentally, a politician tells the truth. And we saw something today which is profoundly ugly, that you're trying to massage the voting system for your own political ends. We sort of know that it happens. You'd very rarely hear someone who served in cabinet saying, yeah.
The Newsagents. This is a Global Player original podcast.